Okay, in today's class we are going to discuss about leadership styles. Okay, so there are different leadership styles, and you have seen many leaders around the world and their leadership style. Okay, every individual will have his own leadership style. Okay, and some will have mixture of various leadership styles. Okay, by point of view, by considering the point of view of authority, so that means it will give the right to issue order, to give commands to subordinates. Okay, from the point of view of authority, there are three leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and free reign. Okay, so these are the three major leadership styles. So we'll discuss about all three in detail in today's class. Okay, first consider autocratic leadership. So what do you mean by auto? Hmm? What do you mean by auto? So automobile, automation. Okay, all these are familiar terms. What do you mean by auto? Hmm? What do you mean by auto? Auto andre no. What do you mean by auto? Huh? So it is not related to any three-wheeler. Okay, so auto means self. So autocratic means so one who rely on himself. Okay, so that is the autocratic leadership. Okay, the leader alone determines policies and makes plans. So he don't consult others. Okay, so that is the autocratic leadership. The leader alone determines policies and makes plans. He tells others what to do and how to do it. He will give instructions, he will give commands. Others must follow. Okay, they don't have any option. They cannot interact with the leader. Okay, only thing they have to do is they have to obey his orders. He demands strict obedience and relies on power. An autocratic leader may sometimes be paternalistic or benevolent. Okay, paternalistic means so it is like authoritarian or it is like dictatorship. Okay, benevolent means he will be kind. Okay, so he'll say, I am doing for the benefit of you. Okay, so that is the benevolent. Or most of the times will do good things for people. Okay, he will kind to people. Benevolent means it is like he will behave in a polite manner. He will be kind to all. He will do all helpful things to people or his subordinates. Okay, whereas in case of leader will be overprotective. Okay, so that means he is more worried about his power and he behaves like a dictator. That is the paternalistic form of autocratic leadership. Okay, in autocratic leadership there are these are the two forms of autocratic leadership: paternalistic or benevolent. So the other name for paternalistic leadership is autocratic or sorry, authoritarian. Okay, both the forms of autocratic leadership, that is authoritarian is nothing but paternalistic and benevolent, are disliked by employees. So there are reasons. Okay, employees don't like these types of leadership. So there are reasons also. In one form, so that is in authoritarian, the employee remains under constant fear since it is like dictatorship. Okay, so a subordinate or employee is in fear. Okay, what decision manager or leader may take. Okay, so its consequences. He will live in constant fear. In other form, he remains under constant gratitude. So gratitude means so ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಅಂಗಲಿರೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರೇನೋ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅವ್ರ ಅಂಗಲಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಡಿಗ್ನಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ people even don't like leaders who are benevolent. So that means who expect gratitude from his from subordinates. Okay, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ನನಗೆ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ನನ್ನ ಹಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ if some leader is expecting that kind of obedience, okay, so then that also subordinates will dislike. Okay, next, again, for every leadership style there are merits and there are demerits. So some of the merits of autocratic leadership are: autocratic leadership can increase efficiency, save time, and get quick results, especially in a crisis or an emergency situation. Okay, so now also we are living in a crisis or in an emergency situation like corona pandemic. Okay, so during this situation, if a country has to go for lockdown, okay, if it is run by autocratic leader, it is easy to announce immediate lockdown immediately, because the leader don't consult others. Okay, he can make decision on his own. If it is autocratic leadership, it is easy to take quick decisions and implement that. That is the merit. The paternalistic form of this style of leadership works well with employees who have a low tolerance for ambiguity. Ambiguity means uncertainty. Feel insecure with freedom and even minor decision making requirements, and thrive under clear, detailed and achievable directives. Okay, so this is also another merit. So you can consider writing CIE. Okay, so some will like questions where you have to write your own answers, you have to think and you have to write. Some will don't like that. Okay, they want to write ready-made answers, okay, from the book or from any other source. They don't want to think and they don't want to apply any concepts. The reason is, so that is a human tendency. There are different types of people. Okay, so this autocratic leadership will suits people, okay, who don't want to make decisions on their own, who don't want to think. Okay, so this type of leadership will be accepted by people who are always ready to take instructions from others, who are ready to obey instructions from others. For them it is good. Whereas people who are more worried about human dignity, okay, that means people who want freedom, okay, who want to think in a logical way. Okay, so they don't like autocratic leadership. Okay, they want freedom. They want freedom to express their disagreements. Okay, so they want to express their ideas. But people who don't want to express their ideas, who want to always follow instructions from others, for them autocratic leadership will be better. Okay, so that is conveyed by this point. Okay, so works well with employees who have low tolerance for ambiguity. That means these type of employees, they don't want to take any risk. They don't want to make any decisions. Okay, feel insecure with freedom, so they don't want freedom at all. Okay, so they want to work according to someone's instruction and even minor decision making requirements, and thrive under clear, detailed and achievable directives. That means if there are instructions, they will simply go on following those instructions. In these cases, so autocratic leadership is suitable. Okay, when people don't want freedom. Okay, don't want to be suitable for them. Chain of command and division of work are clear and fully understood by all. So you can consider the example of military system. Okay, in military system also that follows autocratic leadership. In military also subordinates cannot go against the decision of his superior. Okay, so they have to obey the directions from their boss or from their autocratic leadership is employed in all military systems, okay, of different nations. Demerits. So there are many demerits associated with autocratic leadership. The efficiency of one-way communication often becomes false efficiency. Okay, now also you can see some leaders, okay, so who come on television and they go on giving speeches. So that is nothing but that is one-way communication. One-way communication doesn't hold good for most of the situations. that will look like efficient, but in real sense that is not efficient, that is inefficient, and that is a false efficiency. Okay, so the efficiency of one-way communication often becomes a false efficiency, since one-way communication without feedback typically leads to misunderstandings, communication breakdowns, and costly errors. Okay, so this is the risk associated with autocratic leadership and decisions taken without consulting others. Okay, so there are consequences. One example is you can see what happened to the economy of India after demonetization. Okay, so that is the problem with autocratic leadership. Okay, decision taken without consulting others will lead to costly errors like the consequences in the economy because of demonetization. Okay, the autocratic leader is alone in his decision making. So that means he don't consult others. So he will take decision on his own. So that is the problem with autocratic leadership. He receives little information and ideas from his people as inputs in his decision making. Okay, so this is the problem. So autocrats, they don't take suggestions from others. This is generally dangerous in today's environment of technological and organizational complexity. Okay, now we are living in a very complex world. Okay, so this after we liberalize our market, okay, so we are living in a so that complexity arises because of globalization. Okay, now we are in a globalized world. That means every product has to compete in the global market. Even farmers have to compete globally. Okay, so but recently India come out of one agreement called RCEP. If we sign that agreement, our farmers might have compete with farmers of Australia, farmers of New Zealand, okay, farmers of other Asian countries. Okay, so that's why it is very complicated. If someone has to take decision, he has to consult experts in that particular domain. If he make decision on his own, the consequences are very problematic. Okay. Today, most people dislike authoritarian rule, which excludes them from involvement and reduces them to machine-like cogs without human dignity or importance. Machine-like cogs means reducing a human being into a machine, okay, which works on inputs. Okay, so you can, if you treat a human being like a machine, then okay, that will against human dignity. This autocratic leadership will do that. Okay, so they express their resentment in the form of massive resistance, low morale, and low productivity. Okay, so farmers are protesting throughout India. Okay, so what is the reason why farmers are protesting? In Delhi, if you read newspapers, if you watch television, okay, you might have noticed farmers are doing protests. What is the reason why they are protesting? Hmm? Why farmers are protesting? Voice ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why farmers are protesting? Hmm? So I think most of you are from farming community. So your parents and you might be involved in farm work. Why farmers are protesting throughout the nation? What is the reason? They are protesting for what reasons? Hmm?
Businessmen can buy farmer land, sir, easily.
Okay, so they are protesting against farm bills. Okay, so there are many reasons. Okay, one is because of the new amendments. Any businessman can purchase land up to in terms of hundreds of acres. Okay, earlier there was a restriction. Okay, so usually there was a restriction for people from non-farming community, so they cannot purchase farmland easily. Okay, they have to take extra permissions. But now governments have changed the policy such that anyone who is having money can purchase farmland. So, and another thing is there is no guarantee that farmers will get minimum support price in upcoming days. Now, at least they can get minimum support price for some of the crops. Okay, that is another concern. And even farmers cannot compete with corporates. Okay, if corporate farming come to India, it is difficult for farmers to compete with them. Again, corporate farming will result in mass production. When there is mass production, obviously cost will be reduced, whereas farmers cannot do mass production. They have their own limitation. Okay, they have limited land, whereas these corporates will be having thousands of acres of land. They go for mechanization. They are able to produce at very less cost. Gradually, what happens? Farmers they cannot compete with these corporates. Then they may vanish. So these are the concerns. Okay. So the problem with, again, you can consider the example of these farm bills. Okay. So again, that is one of the result of autocratic leadership. Okay. So if it is a democratic leadership, before implementing these laws, before making these amendments, usually government has to interact with farmers. Okay, it has to at least it should have dialogue with farmers. Okay, so what are the concerns raised by farmers? Okay, how those concerns are addressed by government? This can happen only through dialogue, only through interaction with farmers. Okay, if our governments or our decision makers or administrators rely on one-way communication, rely on autocratic leadership, then that will obviously that will result in massive protests. So that is identified by also. The people express their resentment in the form of massive resistance. Now farmers are doing the same thing. The farmers from Punjab, Haryana, okay, so they are doing the same thing. They are showing resistance for these farm bills. Okay. We move on to democratic or participative leadership. Okay, before going to that, okay, so you have seen many leaders. Okay, so around the world, who are the examples for autocratic leadership? So type the names of the leaders who are autocratic in nature, who follow autocratic leadership. So we have seen many leaders from Mahatma Gandhi, okay, Nehru, even Modi, Narendra, okay, so Trump, okay, even North Korea. There are different leadership styles. Okay, so who are the examples for autocratic? Type your answers. Hitler, Mussolini. Okay, so dictators are nothing but they are also autocratic leaders. Dictatorship is also comes under autocratic leadership. Okay, now present. Who are the autocratic leaders at present? So most of the nowadays the problem with our world is, okay, so most of the countries are ruled by these autocrats. The best example is again China. Okay, so China also. So the China Communist Party is not autocrat, but the problem is with the present president of China. Okay, so the present president of China, Jinping, is a autocrat. Okay, so he's like dictator. Okay, even if you consider North Korean president, so he is also a autocrat. He is also a dictator. Even Mao was a dictator. Okay, and even So there are many dictators also. Okay, so next, okay, okay, we'll move on to next topic. Okay, democratic or participative leadership. Okay, so for a democratic system like ours, okay, so democratic leadership is good in long term. Okay, so that's why we chose democratic system rather than going for dictatorship. We chose democratic leadership. Okay, and again in democracy, if democratic leaders are elected to power, it is better. Okay, otherwise we will have long-term consequences. Throughout our this journey from independence to now, we have seen only few autocratic leaders. Most of our were democratic in nature, only few exceptions. Okay, when we find these exceptions, a nation has witnessed many crises. Okay, in this type of leadership, the entire group is involved in and accepts responsibility for goal setting and achievement. Okay, so in democratic leadership, democratic leader will interact with all stakeholders. He don't take decision on his own. He will consult experts. Okay, so he will take suggestions. Subordinates have considerable freedom of action. Okay, so that is another important feature. The leader shows greater concern for his people than for eye production. So this is another feature of democratic leadership. That means instead of focusing on 5 trillion economy, if it is a democratic leader, he will focus on providing food to all. Okay, he will focus on how a nation can overcome poverty. Okay, so those are the priorities. If leader concentrate on people than on eye production. A part of the leader's task is to encourage and reinforce constructive interrelationships among members and to reduce intra-group conflict and tensions. Okay, that's why we have chosen democratic system. The reason is, so ours is a very pluralistic nation with different cultures, different languages, okay, and different religions, different castes, and different way of living. So for this pluralistic nation, we need democratic leaders who try to avoid conflicts. Okay, so we need leaders who keep religion away from the politics. We want leaders who keep religions away from the politics. The reason is ours is a democratic system and we need democratic leadership style. Okay, otherwise we will witness the consequences, and it is observed in leadership styles also. Okay, if you go through this topic in detail, if you read textbook, you will understand in detail. Okay, so democratic leader serves more as a coordinator for the group. Hence, the group is not dependent upon him as an individual and can function effectively in his absence. Okay, so since it is power is not in the hands of only one person in democratic leadership style. Okay, so the authority will be given to subordinates also. Subordinates also can make decision on their own. This will help in the absence of leader also people can make decisions. Okay, who is the farm minister? Okay, so now as we discussed, farmers are protesting. Who is the central agriculture minister? Who is the central agriculture minister? Okay, do you know his name? Who is the central agriculture minister?
Tomar, Narendra Tomar.
Okay, so his name is Tomar. Okay, so the problem with current administration is we don't know most of the names of ministers. So that is also another demerit associated with autocratic leadership. Okay, where focus will be on an individual rather than a team. Okay, so that results in crisis. Okay, in democracy, so a leader will not keep his team aside. Okay, he will take the team along with him. Okay, so that is the nature of democratic leadership style. While a democratic leader is not the key figure like an autocratic leader or authoritarian leader, he is still the boss and cannot avoid the exercise of authority. Okay, so even if the leader is democratic also, because of the position he is holding, he is having authority, he is having power. Okay, he cannot escape from executing his duties. Okay, so he has to do his duties, but for doing his duty, he can consult others, he can take suggestions, he can take help. Okay, finally, he is the decision maker in democratic style also. But for making that decision, he will take suggestions, he will interact with people. So there are merits and demerits with democratic leadership style also. Okay, no leadership style is ideal. Okay, so to the given situation and to the given circumstances, so every leadership style is good and every leadership style is bad. When people participate in and help formulate a decision, they support it and work hard to make it. Okay, so this is the founding principle of our constitution also. Okay, when people participate and help formulate a decision, they support it and work hard to make it. That's why our leaders are even government will be selected by people. It is democracy. Okay, every individual is having equal right. Every individual is having only one vote. Okay, irrespective of his status, irrespective of the wealth he has, irrespective of his power. Okay, every individual who is having age more than 18, okay, is having same power, only one vote. Okay, so that is the principle, that is the merit of democratic leadership. The leader consistently receives the benefit of the best information, ideas, suggestions, talent, and operating experience of his people. So we know two minds are always better than one mind. Okay, the reason is, so two minds can generate 20 solutions. If one mind is able to generate only 10 ideas. Okay, so that's why, so two minds are always better than one mind. Okay, that is a very famous quote. Okay, so the reason is, so if in democratic leadership, leader is ready to take suggestions from others. So that means he will get better knowledge, better understanding of any problem. Okay, and he can find a solution which will work to solve a problem. This style of leadership permits and encourages people to develop, grow, and rise in the organization. Since they also can involve in the decision making process, they can give suggestions. Okay, so their talent or their knowledge will be utilized by the managers. Okay, so that's why. Okay, next, even there are demerits, okay, limitations associated with democratic leadership style also. Okay, so the participative style can take enormous amounts of time and may degenerate into a complete loss of leaders' control. Okay, so this is demerit associated with democratic leadership style. So if you go on consulting people, okay, so there will be disagreements among people. Then it is difficult to make decision. It will take a lot of time. You have to consult others. You have to convince them why you are taking this decision. What are the consequences? Okay, so all this process will consume a lot of time. That is the one of the demerit associated with democratic leadership style. Some leaders may use this style as a way of avoiding responsibilities. Okay, so that means some people will think ಇದು ಗುಂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ. So that attitude can take over in case of democratic leadership. No one will take individual responsibility. Okay, that is the problem with, or that is the demerit of democratic leadership style. Okay, and who are the examples for democratic leaders? So you can type your answer. So examples of democratic leaders. So who are democratic leaders? Okay, so Barack Obama, PV Narasimha Rao. Okay, Vajpayee. Okay, we have many examples. Okay, even you can consider present Chief Minister of Karnataka. So he is also a democratic leader. He will also show democratic leadership style. Okay, so now if Yediyurappa wants to expand his cabinet, he will consult High Command. He will discuss with MLAs. Okay, he will have dialogue with them. Okay, MLAs will go and meet the chief minister. If they want to become minister, they will request him. Okay, again that same requisition will to send to the high command of the party. So that is a democratic way of deciding things. Okay, there are many democratic leaders. Okay, so these are some of the examples. Okay, next, you have to remember this statement by Ambedkar. Okay, so why in democracy we cannot rely on authoritarian leaders or autocratic leaders. For democracy, we need democratic leaders. Okay, so if we elect autocratic leaders in democracy, then the democracy will be in failure. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, so we have to consider this. So in order to keep healthier democracy, we should not rely on any individual. Okay, so it should, democracy is a teamwork rather than okay, so hero worshipping, it should be a teamwork. You should not worship any individual in democracy. That is not good for democracy. Okay, every individual will be having his own merits and demerits. Next, okay, so other than these two type of leadership, you have seen one more type of leadership style. Okay, so quite often we will criticize some leaders for this reason. Okay, so in India also we see criticism for following this type of leadership. Free rein, also known as laissez-faire. Okay, the leader exercises absolutely no control. So that means it doesn't have any control of his subordinates. Okay, then there will be anarchy in the system. Okay, so that means no control. People will do on their own. There will be no proper coordination. Okay, so that will happen in case of free rein. When the leader is inefficient to control his subordinates, then that will result in laissez-faire. Okay, the leader exercises absolutely no control, only provides information, materials, and facilitates to his men to enable them to accomplish group objectives. Okay, you'll say these are the objectives and you have to achieve these objectives. So then the problem is people may obey his directions or they may not obey his directions. Okay, so that is the problem with laissez-faire. This leadership style can be a disaster if the leader does not know well the competence and integrity of his people and their ability to handle this kind of freedom. Okay, so who are the examples for this type of leadership? Free rein, where they don't have control over their subordinates. So you can type your answer. Okay, so we have identified some names. Okay. So these are the examples. And again, whatever we have decided, okay, whatever names you have taken, we don't know actually which type of leaders they are. Since we don't have direct interaction with them, we will see their leadership in newspapers, in televisions. Based on that, we are making decisions regarding whether these leaders are autocratic, whether they are democratic, or whether they are free rein or laissez-faire. Okay. So that is based on our understanding, based on how they are projected in media and how they are behaving in public life. Okay. Next, again, we have three leadership styles considering authority. Okay. So again, in each leadership style, what amount of freedom is given to subordinates and how it will work, that is summarized in this figure. Okay. So spectrum of leadership styles. As we discussed, there are three leadership styles: autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Okay. In autocratic leadership, it is leader-centered. That means it is individual-centric. Okay. In democratic, it is participative. If you consider autocratic, so use of authority. So that means more power will be retained by an individual, and freedom for subordinates is very less. Okay, so that is the autocratic leadership. In case of democratic or participative method, comparatively more freedom to subordinates. At the same time, some powers will be retained by the leader himself. Okay, final decision will be taken by the leader, but for making the decision, he will consult his subordinates. That means subordinates have freedom to express their views, and those views will be considered by the leader. Okay. Next, in case of laissez-faire, you can see subordinates will take decisions according to their wish, and leader doesn't have much control. Okay, that is the laissez-faire. Next, situational factors determining choice of leadership style. Okay, if you become manager of any company, or if you become a political leader in future, okay, so you may become autocratic, you may become democratic leader, you may become laissez-faire, but it depends on various situations. Okay, at times you may behave like a democratic leader, at times you may behave like a autocratic leader, at times you may behave like laissez-faire. So as an individual, if you are a leader, if you are a manager of a company, if you are a political leader, okay, or if you are managing any other organization, so you may follow mixture of all these type of leadership styles based on the circumstances. Okay, if you have reliable subordinates, if you have efficient subordinates, even at times you can behave like a laissez-faire. If you have trust towards your subordinate, you can assign due work to them. If they work efficiently, they will complete the work, no problem. But again, it depends on the circumstance, the type of subordinates you have. Okay, if they are good at work, if they are efficient, so then you can rely on them, no problem. Even laissez-faire will work. But if you have problematic subordinates, then you might behave like an autocrat. So where you will give instructions, you have to follow. Otherwise, I will take action. Okay, so don't speak much. So follow what I am telling. So that is the autocratic leadership. If people are too lazy, if they want to skip work always, then you have to behave like a autocrat. Okay, or again, depending on the circumstance, if you have good human resource, if you want to make use of the available human resource, their ideas, their knowledge, then you can go for democratic leadership, where in the meeting, okay, you will call for a meeting and you will ask the ideas from your subordinates to solve a problem, or to improve the quality of the product, or to reduce cost of the product. You may take suggestions from your subordinates, they also have knowledge in the particular domain. They can give suggestions. Okay, so that is the democratic style. So that means none of this leadership style is ideal one. It is based on the circumstances. You have to decide which is best and which is not good for the particular situation. Okay, in order to make that decision, you can consider these factors, situational factors determining choice of leadership style. So there are four types of situational factors which are significant to a manager while choosing his leadership style. Factors in the manager himself. So that means we individuals are product of the society. Okay, so we are influenced by society, our parents, people around us. Okay, so based on these influences, we have our own personality. Okay, that is framed by society. Whether I am introvert, I am extrovert. Okay, whether if I get power, whether I behave like a democratic leader or autocratic leader or laissez-faire. Most of the times, it is having influence of how I was brought up. Okay, where I studied, who is having influence on us. All these factors will have an impact. Okay, so factors in a manager himself means it depends on the personality of the manager. Okay, so overall personality of the manager will decide which leadership style is going to follow. Factors in his subordinates, as I discussed, if you have very good subordinates who can work efficiently even in your absence, you can also rely on laissez-faire. If you don't have good subordinates who want to skip their work, who are too lazy, then you have to go for autocratic leadership. Okay, if you have fairly good subordinates who have good knowledge in their domain, then you can go for democratic leadership style. Okay, factors in the general situation. Yeah, that means this is applicable in case of organizations. Okay, leadership style of the manager superior supervisors. So in military, okay, so you cannot go for democratic or laissez-faire. You have to follow autocratic leadership style. Okay, so again it depends on the general situation. If you are in a college or in educational institution, we have to go for democratic leadership style. So that means a faculty has to interact with students. That is the democratic way. And again, learning is always, it is a two-way communication. It cannot happen in one-way communication. Okay, so again, it depends on the general situation. So for military, it is like a one-way communication. Okay, job demands, pressure of time. Okay, at times, if you don't have sufficient time, a leader has to make decision on his own. If he has sufficient time, he can discuss with other experts, and then he can make a decision. Next, factors in the organizational system, that is division of work, organization structure, and production technology. Okay, so again, it depends on the division of work. It will based on the domain, based on the expertise. You have different departments. Okay, and if you are a boss, if you are CEO, you cannot make decision on your own. You have to consult all department heads. That means you must be having democratic style of leadership. Okay, again it depends on the organization structure. If the organization structure is wide, that means there are thousands of people in an organization. One person cannot handle entire staff. Then again, he has to go for democratic leadership style. That means he has to delegate authority to subordinates. Okay, and again technology. So technology, it is a tool to interact with people. Okay, so again, in order to direct and in order to control them also, you can make use of the technology. Okay, so make use of even if you consider production technology, that means machines. If you have modern machines, then you will be having less number of people. Okay, with the help of few number of people, you are able to achieve greater level of production. That is possible because of technology. Then that will reduce the management work of the CEO of a company or who is in top management. It will reduce its work. Okay. So next, leadership style in Indian organizations. Okay, Indian companies. Based on the study, okay, people have observed that in most of the well-established Indian organization, you can find a particular type of leadership. It is based on the study, and you can go through it in textbook. It is available. Okay. So answer for this question, according to your observation, which leadership style is followed by most of the well-established business firms in India, like Tata Company, Birla, Ambani, Adani. Okay, in these organizations run by these people, which type of leadership is followed according to you? Type your answer. Okay, so this is the question. Read the question and type your answer. Okay, it seems like you don't have any answer for this question. Okay, according to studies, in most of the Indian companies, okay, autocratic leadership style is followed at top level of management. Okay, the reason is, so most of Indian companies are family run business enterprises. Okay, so before Mukesh Ambani or Anil Ambani, who was heading Reliance company? Who was the boss of Reliance company before Mukesh Ambani? Who was the boss? Huh? Who was the boss?
Dhirubhai Ambani.
Dhirubhai Ambani. Okay. Before Ratan Tata, who was the boss of Tata Groups?
Jamshedji Tata.
Okay. So you can easily identify a pattern. Okay. So father of Mukesh Ambani was boss of Reliance. Then Mukesh Ambani. Okay, after Mukesh Ambani, who is the boss of Reliance Group? Who will become boss of Reliance Group? As per your common sense.
His son.
His son.